All right, my babies. How are we? How's it going? What's cooking? How's the day? I recently came to terms with the word good, not actually representing what I think we represented. I mentioned it in a lot of videos. Word good means adequate and acceptable. So basically, anytime we say we're very good, what we're saying is we're very mediocre. How good can you get? You're still at acceptable and adequate. You're very adequate. You're very acceptable and very good. I'm amazingly good. I'm amazingly acceptable. I'm amazingly adequate. I'm amazingly mediocre. So that's what I've been thinking basically lately. And I don't know why. It just kind of, I don't. It's the ongoing kind of like the new evolution from that word, I guess, because you use it in a lot of things. And why would I want to refer to anything as mediocre when it comes to like my world, right? Why wouldn't I want to just, I don't know, want more, want amazingness, want a true experience, not just a good one. Get it? But today's video is once you realize the power of your tongue, you can't even say anything. You can't say anything once you realize the power of your thoughts. So once you realize the power of your tongue, you can't say anything once you realize the power of your thoughts. Won't. Okay, let's try again. Once you realize the power of your tongue, you won't just say anything. Once you realize the power of your thoughts, you won't just entertain anything. And once you realize the power of your presence, you won't just be anywhere. Here we go. I'm going to read it one more time. Once you realize the power of your tongue, you won't just say anything. Once you realize the power of your thoughts, you won't just entertain anything. And once you realize the power of your presence, you won't just be anywhere. Definitely not my quote, because something about it seems very familiar as if I've read it or I've like kind of seen it somewhere. But I think this is an intense thing to kind of like point. And again, it's fun. I promise you, I did not read this. I just started thinking and started explaining good in nature while I was trying to have a conversation with you at the beginning. And then I basically talked to you about how that word doesn't really like mean the same to me. And then after I read this, I kind of realized that over the past kind of 2 months, like once something is written, that means you acknowledged it. Or at the very least, that's how I see it. I've acknowledged it. And it becomes kind of like a truth, a reality, something. It's funny because I don't think that's how it goes when it comes to like writing something online. I don't know, or maybe I don't have this relationship with like the digital stuff like I do with like paper. Probably it's just like my subconscious is used to paper more. So anytime I write something online, it's not the same as when I write it on paper. So that could be a fun interaction to actually like have. Maybe I'll sit and I'll write down what I want to do tomorrow. That'll be fun to kind of like consider and like prepare them. I think that'll be very fun. That will be the 1 hour I actually spend tonight before I sleep. Okay, but basically, like over the past couple of months, I've been in a vibe like realize the power that you have when you speak, because you're the first person that hears yourself speak, right? So anything you say, you're gonna hear it, you're gonna believe it, maybe, most probably, And if it's not really something that's in tune with your values, then basically you're gonna you're gonna bring it to life and not really be happy about it. But once you realize the power of your thoughts, then it's a step back, right? Like, you say whatever you kind of like is going in your mind, the thoughts that come, the ideas. And what happens is you basically like you think of something and then you say it. And so you have to pick the thought and you actually have to kind of go through the effort. You have to go through the mental effort of picking the thought and you have to go through the physical effort of saying it, right? So you're effectively kind of like involved in these two stages. The last one is once you realize the power of your presence, you won't just be anywhere. And this last part is because like the environment kind of like engages with you and you have your reality and it's basically absorbing the environment a certain way. And the best way we can look at it is I will use the same example. I don't know, let's use the darkness. Like at night in the bush, the people that love camping probably feel kind of like alive. The people that don't really love camping are probably like looking at the woods and scared shitless, or just feeling beyond themselves. It's the same setting, right? But it's a different environment for each individual. And so each individual isn't each environment. The environment is always interacting with your reality. You're kind of like building your reality based on your thoughts and what you verbalize out of them. And so it's energy. It's kind of like that transfer of what inspires you to become an idea, and then you think about it or you allow it to go through the process of thinking. And then basically you choose something and then you basically verbalize it. And it's verbalizing it is literally the last thing that you would ever remember about it. Because the entire process kind of like happens on its own most of the time, especially when your mind is all over the place. So basically, see, this is just more of a what are you actually surrounding yourself with that would allow you to kind of like explore the ideas that will contribute to the future that you want, right? What are the things that trigger you moving in the direction that you want, you evolving into the person you want to evolve, you building what you want to build, creating the life you want, creating the reality you want, expressing yourself the way you want, all of it. And it's the same power, it just translates in three different ways. Because speaking is one of the easiest form of expression that we have, or at the very least communication, right? And then thinking is kind of like what separates us, the process, the way we develop a process in order to get over something. Just, and each one is the same power, it's just translated differently because realizing the power of your tongue, of what you say, you can't just say anything anymore. And it's not just the power like of manifesting, man. It's just like sometimes you say something and somebody gets hurt, and you're like, "Fuck, man, I shouldn't have said that." Right? It's like that was power you had. They heard you. They didn't like what you said. They got upset. It's messed up, right? I understand, but like that's literally how we adjust because there's a refined kind of like self that is has the ability to interact with everything. without offending anything. And that's basically like the truth that we want to find. When you realize the power of your thoughts, you kind of like understand how valuable it is, the things that you think about and you consider, and how they actually translate into the words that you kind of put out. And these words are the representation of what you're trying to kind of like accomplish. And once you realize the power of your presence, you won't just be anywhere, it's the environment. Overall, it doesn't matter the quality of your thoughts, the environment will take a bit more attention from you, and eventually, I mean, I don't know if that's the law, but the environment has the ability to push you or pull you. And choosing an environment, if we actually are conscious enough to make a choice, so allows us to explore ourselves differently. It's super fun, man. Not bad. Guess what? It's a video.